Hi everyone. Over the years I've used various noise reduction software from Lightroom, but never did a great job because it tended to make the images mulchy. Even though if you use the details slider to bring it back, it wasn't fantastic. So then I tried Nik's Define 2, which did a great job, especially removing the noise that the filters from Nik actually put into the image, which isn't ideal. But finally, I've come across some software that I think blows all of these other ones out of the water, and that is Topaz's DeNoise AI. Fantastic software. Now, I'm not an ambassador for Topaz, but they did provide me with a discount code. Save you 15%. If you want to try this for 7 days for free, you can. But I think you'll want to buy this after you try it. It is amazing. So let me show you how I've applied that to my landscapes and namely my night shots. Also, I've dug an old film shot out of the archives just to give it a little bit of a cleanup. Because I know the publishers that I deal with don't like that grainy look. So I thought, oh, let's just see what DeNoise can actually do with an old film shot. And I was really surprised. So let's go ahead and have a look and see what it can do. Start off with a raw file of an image that I took in the Lofoten Islands in Norway of an aurora. Now, generally, it's best to actually start out removing any noise from the raw file before you make any processing adjustments to your image. Because when you add contrast, saturation, whatever, it's going to complicate the algorithms. So it's best to actually do this before you start doing any editing to the image. Now, generally, I prefer to photograph auroras under either a half moon to a full moon because I find that the moonlight beautifully lights up the mountains like it has here. Otherwise, if you're shooting under a new moon, you get these really dark foregrounds, and basically you just end up with a silhouette of a subject against a really nice aurora. As you can see, the aurora here wasn't hindered at all by shooting under a full moon. It was an amazing display. So what I'm going to do first is go into we'll go into DeNoise right here. And what it's going to do when it opens up, we're just going to go through the basic auto adjustments in here. So we'll set this to auto and do DeNoise AI and let it make its adjustments for the image itself. And let's just see how good of a job it does. Now you'll see when you move your box around here, the display box, it's going to generate a new preview each time you do that. If you don't like that, you can turn it off right here. It's quite easy. But for now, we'll just leave that set on. Now, as you can see here, this does have a little bit of noise still in the sky, and the mountain's not as crisp as I would like it. Photographing, I think this ISO was 2000. Now, generally, if you're shooting under, say, a new moon, you need to start at 3200 and go up. But under a full moon, I felt that 2000 was fine. I wanted to make a quick exposure because if you're photographing auroras, if you're doing a really long exposure, you basically just get a swash of green across the sky because often the auroras are moving quite quickly. And as this was changing by the second. So that's why I chose an ISO of 2000. But under these sort of conditions, I would generally choose the low light, which produces a different algorithm. And let's just see what that does. Okay, it's much better. Now it's cleaned up all this noise in here. And let's just move this across and see what, yeah, that's done a really nice job. And it's nice that it's left the stars as well. That's one thing I found that using other noise reduction software, sometimes it mistakes the stars for noise and starts removing the stars, which isn't ideal. But in this case, it's great. Now you can make manual adjustments here if you like. But I think for this example, let's just go ahead and leave it like that. One thing I would say is I want to sharpen this mountain up a little bit more. So let's just bring the sharpness up. And the beauty of this is it's not sharpening the sky. This is the nice thing about DeNoise, that it's sharpening the subject matter only and not the area of the sky. There we go. Now you can see the difference there as I move this. It really makes the mountain stand out with the details. So that's what I love about DeNoise, is that you have this ability to add a little bit of sharpening too that's not overpowering. It's not giving me any halos. It's really intelligent sharpening. So let's go ahead and apply this. Okay, now that that is done, let's just make some quick adjustments to this. Now you can do this in Lightroom, but I just want to show you quickly how this will look in Luminar. So let's go up to Edit in Luminar, just to show you how quickly we can work this up using Luminar. This is down to AI Enhancer. And straight away it comes in at 100%, but we can just dial this down if that's a little overpowering for you. And okay, let's start there. And over here on the right panel, you can see these, anything that's lit up is where it's made an adjustment. So, and I know for a fact that this has added some foliage enhancer which increases the greens. But I don't want to do that. Let's just knock that down to 0, as we don't really have any foliage. I don't want to increase the greens any more than what it is. But if you do prefer an adjustment to the greens, you can quickly go into color, into advanced settings, choose the green color here, and you can adjust this, increase the saturation or decrease it however you like. Let's just go ahead and leave it like that. Now, you can see that's made a little bit of a difference. Now what I'd like to do is bring out some of the structure of the sky and the aurora. So let's go up to add some contrast first, and then I want to do an enhance structure. So if we go to advanced contrast, starting with the highlight contrast slider and the midtone. And let's just do a balance in between. There we go. And this one, let's bring it down there. Let's just show you before and after. Actually, there we go. Yeah, let's bring that to there. Now, I want to, like I said, go into the structure, AI structure, and increase that just to bring out a lot of this detail in here. You can see that's added some really nice texture to the aurora, and it's brought the stars out a little bit more. Let's bring that up to about there. Okay, that's looking good. Now this is the before and after. Okay, now when we're done, just hit the apply button, and then that will take it right back into Lightroom. Now for my next image, I've chosen a cityscape that I did in Rome of the Vatican. And this is actually shot on quite old technology now. It was a Canon 5D. And even at ISO 100, you can see there's just a lot of noise here in the sky. Just zoom right in. There's a lot of color noise as well. Come up here, you can see it right in here. Other thing I did with this is that I shot it at f/22, mainly to get a longer exposure so I can get the traffic streams to go through, but also to create the little starburst effect on the lamps. But let's go ahead and see what DeNoise will do with this. I'm going to go ahead and leave this in low light, and you can see just going across this, it takes the color noise out of the buildings. Look what it's doing here in the detail in the lettering here and the fine detail on the windows. It just sharpens it up. And let's just go move this up to the dome. I'm going to show you this. You can see that's actually bringing a lot of really nice detail out, but it's getting rid of all that color noise. Look at that. Fantastic. Now, you can actually adjust these if you want more noise taken out or increase the sharpness or decrease it, whatever. You know, you have so much control over the image. Whereas in Lightroom, you had a detail slider and that's about it. But I do like that the sharpening that is applied to the image here. Okay, finally I want to show you an image that I shot on film back in the year 2000 when I went to Namibia. Now this was shot with Fuji Velvia on a Pentax 6.7, and as you can see here, there's quite a lot of grain, not necessarily noise, but grain back in those days. Remember those days? But I think to bring this a little bit more up to date, I want to get rid of some of this grain, and I just want to sharpen the fine detail in the tree here. So let's go ahead and see what DeNoise will do with this. Okay, so I selected DeNoise AI on here, and I've got it on auto just to see what this will do to the image. And let's just bring it right up in here. It'll create its preview. Okay, you can see it still needs to take out some of this grain in here. So let's increase that a little bit. Okay, that's much better now. Let's do it before and after now. Yeah, that's much better. It's taken the graininess out, but look what it's done. The enhanced sharpness actually brings out the detail right in here in the wood, which I think is fantastic. So this really improves even old film shots. So let's just go ahead and apply that. So there you have it. DeNoise has actually improved this old film shot by bringing out some of the fine details in the wood and taking out all that grain, and just rejuvenated an old film shot. So like I said at the beginning of this video, feel free to use my discount code to save 15% on your purchase. You can try it for 7 days free, but I guarantee you'll love this software. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it and got some good information out of this. If you did like it, hit the like button, and you know what else to do. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.